In the news tonight, 2 doctors under the radar for spreading misinformation. Sexual assault claims made by frontliners. And vaccination rules revised.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nana.
Pulawanaga, Fiji. 2 doctors have been reported to the Fiji Medical and Dental Council for spreading misinformation against COVID-19 vaccines. Minister for Health Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete says these individuals must not be given a platform because there is no truth to their claims. FBC News understands that 2 are Lautoka-based Dr. Mbalandina Kavoa and Chone Hawea, who does not have a medical certificate. One of the so-called doctors who's been questioning Fiji's vaccination and testing efforts is not even registered to practice medicine in Fiji.
And I also urge those people that are giving them platforms, please don't do it. One of them is unregistered. Please don't give an unregistered doctor a platform to speak. He has no or she has no authority to speak to the unregistered.
Dr. Wangainambete says the statistics prove that people who vaccinate are protected from the worst effects of COVID-19, something backed up by the international community.
83% of those who die are not vaccinated. 17% of those who are vaccinated only once. So please don't give them any platform.
From the most authoritative sources in Europe, the European Centre for Disease Control and the European Medicines Agency, that vaccination averts the risk of serious illness and death.
Authorities are urging Fijians not to be swayed by individuals peddling lies.
We all know that their voice is wrong. So whoever it is, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a lawyer, whoever it is that's an anti-vaxxer, really we should be looking at not giving them a platform.
The health minister adds information on social media must be verified by credible sources and people must be responsible in how and what they share. Women at the fore of the fight against COVID-19 have made allegations of sexual assault against those they work with. However, many of these women chose to stay silent to keep their jobs and marriages. Christiana Uluwai reports.
Female frontline workers are hesitant to report alleged assaults for fear of being unemployed.
Frontline workers are also putting in complaints about sexual harassment by people who they are working with at the front line. You know, even there we should all be safe because frontline workers are so important and they're always putting their lives in danger. So they have these add-ons also.
Amidst battling a growing pandemic and being away from their loved ones, many of these individuals stand by their oath to serve.
It is a calling, being a healthcare professional. We won't shy away from it. Most of us are providing this with the understanding that yes, we are putting ourselves at harm's risk.
Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says he has not received any formal complaint, but reassures that they will not hesitate to exercise the full extent of the law to discourage such practices. Christiana Uluwai, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health is pleading with people to respect protocols when collecting bodies of their loved ones from the Suva mortuary. Funerals along the Lamino-Sori corridor are daily events now as COVID-19 related deaths continue to be registered. Apanisa Wangai Randovo reports the ministry adds people need to be careful during funeral services as nothing could be worse than contracting the virus while farewelling a loved one.
This has become a usual sight outside the Suva mortuary. Grieving families waiting in queues to collect the bodies of their loved ones who have succumbed to COVID-19.
We have to park on Brown Street, and then we give to the police the name of the loved one that we are coming to pick up, and we also are aware that once they've approved, then one can be able to come up to the mortuary to retrieve their loved ones.
Dr. Wangainambete says the mortuary is labelled high risk, hence safety measures need to be followed.
Be mindful that the protocols are in place at this time, so that we can be able to ensure that we do not transfer the virus.
Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says with the help of police, protocols have been implemented to keep grieving families away from the hospital red zone.
The police have helped us a lot by ensuring that they can cordon off certain areas whenever there is people coming in to get their loved ones.
You were told like the time we were able to come, and then the sad part was lining up the streets. For the safety protocols, it was easy.
A team has also been set up to monitor and ensure there is enough space at the Suva mortuary. Apinisong Grandovo, FBC News.
Those who've recently contracted COVID-19 are eligible for vaccination once they have completed 14 days of isolation and recovered from acute illness. This is based on updated evidence and advice from the World Health Organization's Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization and established practice in other countries. Kritika Kumar reports.
The Ministry of Health, with assistance from the World Health Organization, has reviewed the current advice that recommends a waiting period of 90 days.
We basically, as a nation, we do follow WHO guidelines quite a lot, and that is one thing that we constantly do through the technical meetings, and we go on their recommendations.
Dr. Devi says the evidence is that the vaccine is safe for people with prior COVID-19 infection, including within 90 days of recent recovery. She adds they have seen more people coming forward to get their second jab.
So this is around the time that a lot of second doses are due. Because of that, we've seen almost equivalent number of first and second doses per day, or even more than first doses we've seen second doses. So that's really good.
Minister for Health Dr. Efremi Wangai-Nambete says their focus is on getting more Fijians vaccinated.
For us, the most important thing is, remember, at the moment there is a policy on being fully vaccinated and traveling outside at least VT level.
Given the high level of vaccine supply and the highly transmissible nature of the Delta variant, the ministry says those who have recovered recently are eligible for vaccination after completing 14 days of isolation. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
And to our latest COVID-19 update, Fiji had 1,187 new COVID-19 infections for the period ending 8 a.m. yesterday. 387 cases are from the West and 800 from the Central Division. The Ministry of Health also recorded 11 new COVID-19 deaths between July 31st and August 4th. 9 deaths were in the Central Division and 2 in the West. Fiji has recorded 33,850 cases since April this year. There are now 22,658 active cases in isolation, with 10,848 recoveries in total. The COVID-19 death toll stands at 272. The vaccination campaign continues. As of yesterday, 498,680 people, or 85% of the population, have received their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. 164,974, or 28%, have received their second. The 5 most vaccinated areas include Mba, Rewa and Nanonga, which are now 100% first jabbed. Next are Nandi and Naitasiri. Rewa tops the list of the province with the most number of second jabs administered. And Vaseva Rokali from Waituri, Nausuri is fully vaccinated. Have you vaccinated yet? Up ahead, good response at Tavyuni vaccination drive. And police relook at COVID operations. Welcome back. Vaccination in Tavyuni has picked up pace, with 64.4% of the eligible population already administered their first dose. Awareness by the Provincial Council Office and police, led by the Ministry of Health, is helping Fijians on the island make an informed decision on getting vaccinated. Eleanor Turangaivu reports.
Tavyuni is getting a positive response to the Ministry of Health's COVID-19 vaccination. 19.4% of the target population, or 1,961 Fijians on the island, are now fully vaccinated.
There's a lot of rumors going on about the vaccination, and personally, I felt that if I didn't get vaccinated, it would hinder a lot of things that I would want. So I have now been fully vaccinated.
The Provincial Council Office, along with police, are helping the Ministry of Health take the vaccination consultation and awareness to the communities.
We don't want to be like Suvo, Missouri area. whereby when the COVID is there, then they run towards the injection or the vaccination. Here, we taking prevention is better than cure.
The Taviani Tourism Association has also been conducting a vaccination drive online, getting people to share their experience and encourage others to get vaccinated.
Since COVID, a lot of people have realised the impact of tourism on the island. They didn't realise that tourism does so much, but now they do realise that their jobs depend on it.
The nature of my work requires me to be in the public sphere all the time. Today, I've just taken my second jab. I choose to be vaccinated to protect my family. Eleanor Turangaiviu, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health has taken delivery of 100,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine funded by the New Zealand government and sourced from Spain. High Commissioner to Fiji, Jonathan Kerr, has reaffirmed New Zealand's commitment to support access to safe and effective vaccines. Kerr adds vaccines are also the key to achieving effective economic and social recovery, and they have confidence in Fiji's ability to meet its target. New Zealand is also providing about $2.9 million to support vaccine rollout and preparations.
Procurement of vaccines is not simple. It's very complex. There has been a lot of work that has gone on by Fiji Ministry of Health officials, by officials in Spain, and EU member states.
We must understand that the more people that are vaccinated, the more people that are fully vaccinated, then the likelihood of hospitalizations and death reduces remarkably.
The no jab, no entry rule at the Suva Municipal Market will be enforced by October. Suva City Council Special Administrators Chair Isikeli Tikonduandua says they are working closely with the government to ensure this rule is executed efficiently and effectively. Details with Josiah Nanunga.
Get the jab or stay out of these premises. A stern reminder to Fijians who haven't been vaccinated. To date, 16% of permanent unvaccinated market vendors in Suva have been sent home.
From the 1st of August, we have ensured that only those vendors that had had the first jab are allowed to operate from the market. And up to now, about 84% of our permanent vendors have been vaccinated.
They were reminded on a daily basis that they need to get vaccinated. In fact, the municipal councils went out of their way in organizing vaccination in various markets around the country.
Tekunduandua has also rejected rumors that some people are entering the market using fake vaccination cards.
There has not been any incident yet. However, with this rumor, we have beefed up the checking of all this ID card to ensure that there is no counterfeit or people duplicating or photocopying IDs.
SCC continues to support the Health Ministry's vaccination program in an effort to achieve full herd immunity and defeat this killer virus. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
The Fiji Police Force must work smart and get tough when it comes to COVID-19 operations. Speaking to FBC News from quarantine, Commissioner of Police Brigadier General Sitiveni Ngilio says he's had several virtual meetings with divisional police commanders and the Deputy Commissioner of Police Rosiato Tundravu since his arrival. Ngilio believes officers can be tougher with enforcement, especially when dealing with loitering. He adds people can expect changes in police operations. Officers are also reminded to have a level of understanding when dealing with individuals.
Being tough on enforcement with the complex COVID and other anxiety-fueled situations that we are going through at the moment. We need to be smart with how we operate and commit resources, including manpower, and friendly with how we deal with people with a heart of empathy with the stressful situation that we are all in at the moment.
Coming up in world news, Nigeria receives 400 million Moderna doses. And later in sports, Spain's La Liga Soccer League gets $3.2 billion boost. First up in business, many micro, small and medium enterprises were forced to shut down due to the economic effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation believes the national budget provides the environment and policies to help restart these businesses. Lina Rees has more.
The Employers Federation has praised the 2021-22 national budget that will make it easy for the private sector to do business.
From a private sector perspective, government has removed the bureaucracy and has assisted the private sector in the area of the ease of doing business. For the private sector, that is very important. They have brought in what they introduced last year, plus some more other initiatives that would benefit not only the larger companies, but also the micro, small, medium enterprises.
The Suva Retailers Association noted the priority being placed on employment opportunities and investment that can stimulate economic activity.
What we asked for really was the continuation of the same tariffs that was introduced last year. That's a very good incentive-driven tariffs that the government gave us on the importation of goods. So we asked for them to continue with it so it can bring stability and actually the reduction in prices that the government hoped for.
Both organizations confirm they're working closely with partners, stakeholders and Fijians to ensure they can better support each other while adhering to all COVID-safe protocols. Lina Rees, FBC News.
Here are the local exchange rates as set this morning. The Fiji dollar had a mixed day as it fell against the Chinese yuan and the Kiwi dollar, but gained against other international currencies recover. Declines across the commodities market. Crude oil dropped to close at $68 a barrel. Gold dropped a few dollars to $1,809 per ounce, and silver closed down $25.31 per ounce. And time now for Sharon to give us the latest on the markets.
Good evening. Looking at the latest data released today, Australia's June trade balance recorded a surplus of $10.496 billion, exceeding the expectation of $10.45. This makes it 42 months of trade surpluses in a row for Australia. Their June exports were up 4%, while imports rose by 1%. The release led to a bit of bounce in the Aussie dollar, but later steadied, driven by general market sentiments. Meanwhile, the US dollar was set to push higher as hawkish comments from the US Federal Reserve led market to bet that a rate hike is now possible sooner than expected. The rally came after the Federal Reserve Vice Chair said conditions for an interest rate hike could be met by next year, setting the stage for a move in early 2023. In contrast, the Bank of England is much nearer to tapering and could expand on timing at a policy meeting later tonight. The central bank is set to leave its interest rate unchanged and release new forecast in its monetary policy report. And we'll update you on that tomorrow, but for now, that's all from HFC Bank. Vinaka.
Demolition and earthworks have begun at the Lekutu Secondary School in Vanuatu in preparation for the construction of 2 classrooms and 1 7-pan ablution block. The demolition was done by Kashmir Transport Limited through the Australian Defence Force project funding. A joint effort for rehabilitation is anticipated to be conducted by the ADF and RFMF engineers. The school was damaged by TC Yasa in December last year and will be rebuilt through funding by our Australian Vuvale allies. The school caters for year 9 to 13 students. Coming up after the break, salon owner happy to be back at work. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thousands have been forced to flee their homes to escape raging wildfires across Greece. Much of the southern Europe has endured the worst heatwave in decades, with temperatures reaching 75 degrees. Soko Vaihola is relying on loyal customers to keep her afloat at a time when the salon business has taken a hit. The owner of Yoel Salon says she has to work harder under the new normal to earn a living. Sanya Nimboila reports.
Being one of the high-risk businesses, the UL 3100 hair salon was closed for weeks, but Viola is at it again as soon as she got the green light to operate.
We were closed for some weeks and were told to get approval before operating again due to the COVID-19 restrictions. So I continue to have faith that we will be up and running again, so here we are. I am so happy that my business is now continuing.
Viola says they need to work hard under the new circumstances in order to keep her clients and herself safe from the coronavirus.
It requires a lot of work, but I know that I can do it. I just need to work extra hard to help my clients at the same time and provide for my family.
Being loyal and hardworking is what life is all about for Viola, knowing that it will pay off one day.
I know that it's a challenging time for every Fijian, but now is the time to know what you are capable of. Live your dream and achieve what you want in life. COVID will die down and we need to continue with our very best as life is too short.
The salon based in Matinta, Nandi is also popular among women parliamentarians. Saini Animboila, FBC News.
Coming up in sports, the tank tells all. And Plan B working for Delta Tigers. Leading sports, Fiji 7-star Asaeli Tuivuaka struggled to get where he is today and is among the many success stories of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The tank, who is now a household name in sevens rugby, had to overcome many hurdles along the way. Talei Matairakula with the story.
He may be a tough customer and a hard player to tackle on the field, but off it, Tuivuaka is a simple man whose journey has been full of sacrifices.
It wasn't an easy life. I had to live with my uncle. Wasn't really good at school. I remember refusing to attend Nasino Secondary because of the financial constraints we faced. I didn't want to put more burden on my mother's shoulders. It was really hard. Some mornings we would have salted cassava with tea for breakfast.
The loss of his dad and struggles by his mom was the driving force for the Namosi man.
I was 14 when my father passed away. Wherever I went to compete, my father would always be there to support me. I left school to help my mom at our farm, but she saw that I loved rugby, and her advice for me was to work twice as hard to get where I wanted to be.
Tuivuaka also inspired veteran Kalione Nosoko in the camp.
Young players like Tuivuaka really challenge us in camp. We did not bank on our experience anymore, seeing their hard work and talent.
The 25-year-old's uncle and former Fiji Sevens captain Stefano Vakau encouraged him to join the Tambandamu team, and the rest is history. Tali Materakula, FBC Sports.
Fijiana Sevens head coach Sayasi Fuli is challenging local coaches to dream big. The Kandavu native created history at the Olympics by becoming the first local coach to lead a team and win a medal. Karalaini Tavi has more.
Sayasi Fuli has proven that local coaches have what it takes to take Fijian rugby to the next level.
I always want to encourage local to take up the job and prove that nothing is impossible in this world. If we plan right, we can make it right.
Fuli was an assistant coach with the Fijian Roar. Prior to this, he was with the Fiji Sevens team and also coached the Suva rugby team. Accepting the coaching role for the women's Sevens team has been one of the toughest decisions for Fuli.
It was my decision to come and join the women's campaign. All my life I've been playing rugby, men's competition, and then coaching men's team. For me, I always try a new challenge, and that challenge is being offered to come and restore and help women's rugby.
Fijiana Sevens captain Rusila Nangasao is content with how far the team has come.
It went away. It is what it is. Semi-final. One is going to win, one is going to lose. We went back to our changing room. We talked about it, and from there, we know we didn't get the goal.
Puli and the Fijiana Sevens side are still in Japan and will return home next Tuesday. Carly Tavi, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Sevens side will not have a chance to defend its Hong Kong Sevens title again this year. The 2021 Hong Kong Sevens from November 5th to the 7th has been cancelled. This is the second year in a row the Mecca of Sevens has been cancelled due to COVID-19. The decision follows detailed and constructive dialogue between World Rugby and the participating unions. Fiji, which has won the title for 5 years in a row, will now have to defend the trophy next year. The 2022 Hong Kong Sevens is scheduled from April 1st to the 3rd. Fiji-born Wallabies players Marika Koraimbete and Isi Naisarani will not be considered for selection in this weekend's opening Bledisloe Test match. The two have been stood down for drinking alcohol well beyond an agreed time prior to a training-free day. While the Wallabies will try to get their act together, the All Blacks have named its best for the test. The Rio football coaching staff are confident of a good start to the Premier League season once sporting competitions resume. After 3 months of not being able to train as a team, the Delta Tigers have been conducting isolation training to keep on track. Venina Rakautonga reports 90% of the players in the side have been fully vaccinated, with the rest to get their second jab this month.
Having less to no training supervision during the lockdown has not been an issue for the Rewa side.
No, they are professional athletes. They know what to be done, and I thank them for responding in a good way, in a manner that will help me and also help the team.
With majority of them fully vaccinated as per request of the governing body, VJFA, the team is ready for the season.
We'll try and get that flair and that momentum back, because we want to start off where we left, so that's the only hindrance.
VJFA Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf says they are well on track to reaching their target.
We're on a very strong drive to get our players vaccinated. Second dose now, first dose we are over 85%.
Other district teams are ensuring they get all their players vaccinated in order to get approval to start playing again. Venina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
Australia's Olympic officials are condemning the behavior of their athletes on a flight out of Tokyo. There are allegations of excessive drinking, ignoring crew warnings, and leaving a bathroom unusable. An investigation is now underway. Spain's La Liga Soccer League has agreed to sell a 10% stake to private equity firm CVC Capital Partners. However, fans may be disappointed if they think that means a frenzy of big-name transfers because of this sale. In our play of the day, Papua New Guinea Kumul's hitman Justin Olam is one of the best centres in the NRL. His trademark hard hits have been one of the highlights of the Storm's run this season. In our quirky sport of the day, like many tribes native to the eastern United States, Cherokee's stickball is a full contact sport that has inspired lacrosse and has evolved over the years. That's it from sports. Weather's up next. Fine conditions prevailed over most parts today. In the Western Division, pleasant conditions prevailed. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, it was mostly sunny and windy. In the Northern Division, generally fine. The places we are checking out today are Suva, Lautoka and Rakiraki. All centres had fairly low humidity. At sea, moderate east to southeasterly winds, moderate seas. Turning to the tides, the next low tide is at 10:28 p.m. with high tide at 4:43 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:31. For tomorrow, partly cloudy conditions with a few showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. It will be another cool night. The outlook for Saturday, a few showers over the eastern parts of the larger islands and Lau and Lomaiviti group. mainly fine elsewhere, cool at night. And our shot of the day was sent in by James Fayaz from the Giri Road in Nasinu. Blue skies with patchy clouds. And in Fijian Pulse, we ask, has the fee waiver on birth registration helped you in these trying times?
Before we had to pay and it's hard. I'm happy I can do it for free and I need it so I can register to vote.
Time is hard and this help offers us some relief.
I'm happy with the idea of no fees, and we are here to do the birth certificate for my grandchildren because we want to register them in the VKB.
I'm able to save $10 and use it on something else.
After considering how he wants to be remembered when he dies, Jason Leach started pressing human ashes into vinyl records. Though he's not convinced that the dead communicate through music, Leach believes that the playable cremation records provide loved ones with meaningful memories and connections. And recapping our main stories, 2 doctors under the radar for spreading misinformation, sexual assault claims made by frontliners, and vaccination rules revised for COVID-recovered patients. For these stories and others, tune in to our sister station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, should there be an Olympic 7 celebration once Fiji is clear of COVID-19? Visit our FBC News website to take part, and remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our various social media accounts. You can also download our FBC app to keep updated with the very latest in news and sports and listen to our 6 radio stations live. That's your news this evening. I'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. Modemanta.